guys, it's Jasmine. I'm back with another video. I am going to just jump right in on a murder that happened in Hemet, California. But before I do start, I wanted to say that all of the victims in this story at the time that the events happened were only 17 years old. On November 15th, 2009, Jose Campos was at his home in Hemet, California, along with his friend Ivan Ruiz, Adrian Rios, and his girlfriend Felicia Sharp. They were getting together to watch the Chargers versus Eagles game. They were drinking Mad Dog wine coolers, they were hanging out, they were battling, you know, normal stuff you would do in between plays, during commercials, that kind of stuff. Well, at some point, Ivan said something to Adrian, and that offended Adrian. And he pretty much made a comment that he was offended, and he also said that he wanted to get out of their little clique, their little gang called Nemesis. Adrian and Ivan ended up getting into a fight, and then all of a sudden Jose pulls out a .22 caliber rifle and shoots Adrian. Now, there's reports saying that Adrian was kind of like encouraging him, saying, "Oh, you're not really gonna shoot me, bro, like, don't even play like you are," and then boom, he shot him. After Jose shot Adrian, he then ordered his friend Ivan and his girlfriend Felicia to help him move the body to the backyard. He ended up dragging the body from his bedroom where he shot Adrian into the backyard, and he dug a shallow hole, dropped him in there, and then Jose and Ivan ended up leaving. Now, there's conflicting reports on how this happened. So some of the reports say he drove, and other reports said that they rode their bikes. But either way, as you can see below, they went from their house to Walmart Supercenter, went inside, got a hamburger, and then from there went across the parking lot to the 76 gas station, and they filled up a gas can full of gas. They got back to the house, ended up starting the body on fire, and they started burning him. Now, I specifically remember this day because I actually lived a few blocks away. At that time, I was living with my ex-boyfriend and his family, and we were all renting out a really nice 5-bedroom home. And we were outside by the pool, and I remembered smelling something that smelled like burnt hair. And I said, "Oh, it smells like burnt hair out here bad." And he was like, "Is that what that smell is?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it smells like burnt hair." And I think I ended up talking to him about how, you know, it's the proteins that are in your hair that end up burning it and all this kind of stuff. And then I made the joke of, I'm like, maybe somebody's burning a body. And, you know, we laughed, and then we just kind of moved on. Everybody was swimming, we were talking, but we all still kept saying, like, "God, that smell still isn't gone." And so we all smelled it even blocks away. At this point, Jose's mom and stepdad ended up coming home from mass. And there's a couple conflicting reports with this. Some say that Jose's stepdad and mom brought their friend Jose Rodriguez. So Jose Campos is the guy who allegedly murdered Adrian, but Jose Rodriguez is the family friend, just so we're kind of on the same page. And Rodriguez witnessed an argument between Jose Campos and his stepdad. And it wasn't a serious, loud argument, but he could see that Jose's stepdad was shaking and was having a serious conversation, but was talking low, and he overheard Jose Campos admit that he had shot Adrian. And they said, "You need to get rid of the body." They packed up their stuff, and then they left. So again, here's two other conflicting stories. One story says that because they couldn't get his body completely burned, that they ended up chopping him up, and then they transported his body to a home in Paris and then dropped some of the remains inside of Canyon Lake in Paris. Now, the other report says that Rodriguez also witnessed them burning the body. Now, I'm going to look down to read this because there's a lot of information. So when Jose's family came home, they had a friend with them named Jose Rodriguez. Now, at first, he thought that they were burning some logs, but then he looked and he saw a body from the legs down. And he thought, okay, they have to be burning a mannequin. In his mind, he couldn't he couldn't think that they were actually burning a body. So he was like, these weird teenagers are out here drinking beer, burning a mannequin because teenage boys are weird. He then grew a little more concerned when he saw them with a tool, and it looked like they were chopping up the top part of the body in the fire. Now, he says he doesn't exactly remember what the tool was, but he thinks it was a shovel. So what's definitely confirmed is we don't know if he ended up doing anything at said Paris home that he went to, but we do know that he ended up for sure chopping Adrian's body up, and he dropped part of him in the canyon lake in Paris, and then he also tried to burn the rest of him. He then torched his car. They went back to Ivan's house, and Ivan's mom drove Jose and Felicia to the Mexican border, and she gave them $100. So on November 17th, 2009, Adrian's mom was incredibly worried about him because he hadn't been home in 2 days, and that was very out of character for him. She then drove to 1440 Blue Jay Way in Hemet, California, the last known place that she knew her son would be. When she knocked on the door, no one answered. So her following her mother instinct, and I get it, I have that motherly instinct too. Sometimes you just know you need to check something out. You need to check on your kid. She followed that gut instinct, and she decided to walk around the side of the house, go into the backyard. And what she saw was something that just didn't look right. She found marks in the backyard that looked like a body had been dragged. She then noticed a shoe in the backyard and wanted to tell herself, that's not my son's shoe. Like, that's not his. I'm going to be hopeful. I'm going to keep looking. And then she found a burned pair of shorts, and she knew 100% that those were her son's shorts. So at this point, she immediately left and went to the Hemet Police Department to report what had happened. Robert Galetta, a former Hemet police detective, showed up on scene. He testified that when he arrived on scene, the yard had a number of things that didn't seem right, a number of things that looked worrisome. Again, he witnessed the drag marks. He witnessed the burned clothing. There was burned rope and rocks that littered the backyard. There was kitchen knives strewn about, cleaning products, alcohol pads, and there were even blood stains that they weren't able to clean up. He then wandered through the backyard looking for more evidence, and he found a fire pit. He said when he walked up to the fire pit, it had a gross smell. It smelled like probably what I'm assuming would be burnt hair and probably decaying body parts. Investigators later did find charred bones and burned body parts inside of the fire pit. Crime scene analyst Anthony Ramirez of Hemet Police said this: they used a chemical that glows where blood has been cleaned up. It showed copious amounts of blood that had been removed from Jose's bedroom, on the garage floor, and the washing machine. Essentially, the garage lit up like a Christmas tree. That, I think, kind of speaks volumes for the amount of blood that was around the house. More evidence from Jose's home included the .22 caliber shell casing. They then found the torched Chevy Suburban on a dirt road in Mead Valley, California. So at this point, police then started looking for suspects because it was weird that nobody was home. People lived there, yet no one was there. At this point, Ivan was 18 and he was tracked down and arrested. And that's when Ivan's mom admitted that she had drove Jose and Felicia to the Mexican border. About a month after all of this took place, police were tipped off, and they've ended up finding the rest of Adrian's body in Canyon Lake in Paris, California. On March 10th, 2010, Felicia and Jose were captured in Mexicali, where they were found to be renting a room, and Jose had found himself a job working at a meat market. They were then transported back to Riverside County, and they were interrogated throughout the night. In September of 2010, Ivan pled guilty to assisting in the disposal of a body, and he served 180 days with 3 years probation. So in October of 2011, almost 2 years after the murder of Adrian, trial began for both Jose and Felicia. Felicia just kept saying that she didn't remember anything, and it all had to have been attributed to the PTSD that she experienced from the night of the murder. I know I shouldn't put my 2 cents in, but trial's over. I call bullshit. I think she fully remembered everything, but it was just easier to say she didn't. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you all kind of agree with me, but who knows? Maybe she really did experience the PTSD. During the trial, Jose's attorneys said that he was very, very arrogant. He was very smug, and that he didn't seem like he was taking the whole trial seriously. He was smiling in the courtroom. He was honestly just acting like an asshole. And prosecutors just felt that, you know, he wasn't taking it seriously, even though they were trying him as an adult. Jose also said that he didn't do it, and he tried to put all of the blame on Ivan, and the jury didn't believe it. The jury, within a day, decided that that was not true, and so Jose, just through the whole trial, was denying what he had done. During cross-examination, prosecutors ended up showing a video of Jose interacting with Adrian's mom to the jury. I'm going to go ahead and look down to read this part, but this is exact quotes from what they said. Adrian's mom said, "You think you are so smart because you tried to cut my son into pieces? Did you forget his shoes were in the backyard?" And Campo then leaned back, smiled, and said, "Oh my goodness, man, is that it? Really? That's all you have? Oh my God, I wasn't even there at home. I left there, okay?" And then she yelled, "You killed my son. He was in your house. Part of his body is in your house." And Jose said, "You don't know if I did it. You weren't there. Nobody was there. The day you know who did it, that's the same day you'll say I shouldn't have told him that. And that day I'll tell you, hey, I forgive you for accusing me, because I have to forgive you just like Jesus forgives." On October 27th, 2011, Campos was found guilty of first-degree murder. On December 16th, 2011, Jose was sentenced to 25 years to life for the murder of Adrian and another 25 years to life for personal use of a firearm. And that's the end of the story. From what I know, Ivan is out. He's off parole. I haven't heard anything from him, and Jose is going to go ahead and rot in jail. Which, I mean, to me, I think that it's not the worst thing that could happen. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!